Once again, the second part of the business issues part under external business environment is about technological factors. And again, a question for this is more than likely to come from the case study, where you will be asked about different technologies that organisations use and the impacts that they can have on perhaps their financial figures or just on the company itself. Now, so technological developments, clearly in recent years, the growth in the use of information and communications technology, we call it ICT, has brought many benefits and challenges to businesses. In the longer term, it's believed that new technological advances will provide one of the main drivers of business growth. Technology is something that organisations are spending lots of money in because they do realise that it is helping them to grow a lot faster. For example, Amazon are investing in drones. I have to say, I don't think the drones have been particularly successful recently, and I think it's something that they've actually decided to kind of come away from again. Their theory at the time was, from a technology point of view, we will be ready to enter commercial operations as soon as the necessary regulations are in place. This will reduce the need for labour and see great savings being made in the future. Now, as I said there, I'm not convinced they actually did work particularly well, and that's something that you probably could investigate. So technological impact. Technological advances affect both the process used by business in all their functional areas, whether it is in production, operations, finance, HR or marketing, and the products being offered to consumers in conjunction with the way in which they're offered. So as I say, there are lots of different ways in which technology can impact organisations. Make sure you know technology and its effect from the different departments of an organisation from Hire. So at Hire, for each of the functional departments, you should have learned of the different types of technology used in each of the 4 functional departments: marketing, operations, HR and finance. And remember, at that time, you had to be quite specific about the type of technology you were talking about and what it could do to help that particular department. So that's really going to be quite useful for you for this. So technology used in business then, we're obviously using much more advanced and sophisticated computers. Lots of people now using using internet access for lots of different things. Most households in the UK now have internet access with a broadband connection. Business transactions now, most of them are now carried out using the internet. We've now got 5G mobile phones allowing increased speed and allowing more users to be using Wi-Fi at the same time. So there are lots of different things here. We've also got CAD and CAM that remember from Hire. We talked about this under operations, designing products using computer-aided design, and then manufacturing using automation, really automated machines that are actually being programmed using computers, and they are actually giving organisations a growth in that area. We've also got video conferencing. Nowadays we use things like Skype, we use Teams, we use all these different methods, FaceTime even, where we can actually speak to people, we can hold meetings with people all over the world without having to actually meet up with them. We can share resources with them, we can share screens, etc., to be able to send presentations, all that sort of thing. So that's really important. Job applicants, of course, can use video conferencing software to complete an interview using things like Skype, etc. We've got internet banking. Lots of people now don't go to banks at all. You can now even deposit cheques by taking a picture of them with some banks. So there's really very little need for you to go to banks. However, as it says here, there is still an issue over security of internet banking. We've got websites. We could store all your content on the cloud. Office 365, we use in the school, we use OneDrive with using Glow, and that means you can access your files from anywhere as long as you've got internet access. So all of these things are helping organisations. So what are the benefits then generally of using technology? It can bring lots of benefits. It can cut costs for business because things are done faster. You can produce more in a shorter space of time, which means you can actually cut your costs. We call that economies of scale. You can expand your markets. You can now trade with people all over the world through the internet. You've got more turnover or sales. Being more competitive because people like the way they work. If you've got an online facility, people are more likely to use you, so you're more competitive. If you use it appropriately, it can help a big business become more successful by giving better levels of customer satisfaction. Now that really means that the customer service department of organisations has to really be on the ball, as long as you're providing a good service and you're following it up. customers can be a bit wary of ordering products online, so it's quite important that your customer satisfaction levels are high. However, you must take care to comply with data protection, now GDPR, and the Computer Misuse Act. So you have to make sure that you are storing customers' information correctly and it's not being given to the wrong people. Businesses will also have to develop new ways of offering customers a personal touch to retain loyalty, because you've not got the same face-to-face contact that face-to-face selling brings. So trading over the internet doesn't have that. So companies have to think about that. So we obviously have a continuous use in the use of e-commerce. B2C is business to consumer, which is what most companies do. Business to business, businesses trading together. Consumer to business, we're going to talk about each. Now here's a little task on this page, this technology task that you can do. Investigate a business of your choice and look at the technological developments that have taken place over a period of time and the impact this has had on the business. And that's kind of something that you would probably be looking at from a case study point of view. You would have the technological developments that organisations have actually undertaken and how these have impacted on the business. A very good exam question. So B2C is business to consumer. All businesses can set up a website to sell their products and services. Businesses can benefit by being able to sell their products and services to a wider market at a lower cost because you've not got shop fronts. And consumers can benefit by obtaining goods and services at lower costs, lower prices, because businesses are obviously able to do this at a lower cost, and they can do this at their convenience, which is quite important too. As far as B2B is concerned, that's business to business, businesses trading with each other. All businesses can set up a website to sell their products and services to other businesses. They provide the opportunity to improve relationships with suppliers. So organisations buying from suppliers, that's business to business. There are massive efficiencies and cost savings can be made, once again, because you don't have the storage facilities, or you don't have shop fronts, if you like, from one supplier to another. Now, business to business continued. It's much easier to compare suppliers and to get the best deal. You can go online and you can compare different businesses, different suppliers. If you're wanting to buy, for example, aggregate or bricks or whatever, you can shop around and try and find the best deal. The availability of stock, delivery times and charting the progress of orders can also be monitored, just as it can with consumers. There's less need for human intervention and human error, as orders are received direct into the supplier's own ICT systems. So there doesn't really need to be much intervention by way of consumer. It's like, for example, Asda or Morrisons or whatever buying from Coca-Cola. It gets done and the orders are received directly to the supplier, and then the supplier will fulfill the order and take them to the distribution centres. So it all works out pretty well. At the bottom of that slide is a little clip for you to watch on business to business. Now we've got consumer to business, C2B. And this is a model which consumers or individuals, they create value and businesses consume that value. So for example, when a consumer or a customer writes reviews, or when a consumer gives a useful idea for new product development, then that consumer is creating value for the business if the business adopts the output. So for example, if a consumer writes a review about a restaurant and something they can improve and the restaurant takes it on board, then that is the consumer helping the business out by creating value for them. And this is just a little diagram to show you a bit more about C2B and how it actually works. Now, obviously, we're using the internet. We've got to think about regulation and safety, and you've got to think about hackers, because people are frightened to buy from organisations if they feel that the website is insecure or it's a fake or whatever. So it's really important to make sure that websites are secure and payment systems are secure for consumers to use. The Electronic Communications Bill 2000, Computer Misuse Act 1990, Data Protection Act, followed by GDPR in 2018, are all important for doing that. Now, what are implications for businesses of using e-commerce? You're continuously reviewing your business strategy. You have to keep on thinking, how can we make it better? What's the competition doing? How can we make it a lot more streamlined? Looking at your processes, same kind of thing. Looking at this global market opportunity, you have got the facility to to sell your products all over the world. There are no time restrictions to trading because there's always someone up and about, and so you can trade your products 24/7, whereas with a shop you close it. There's a greater ability to track customer buying patterns to see what customers are buying. You can gather all that information to be able to change the ways of doing things. And however, you must have to keep investing in ICT